the pressure who no buck. If you not have no education, people treat you like.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to another tutorial in this COVID-19 pandemic season. Parents, I hope you had a well-deserved 2 weeks break and you are ready to continue the journey with us. Students, I hope you're continuing to be kind to your parents. In today's lesson, we're going to be talking about types of fractions. So our topic today, types of fractions. We're going to be looking at proper fraction, improper fraction, and mixed number. So 3 types of fractions we're going to be looking at today are proper fractions, improper fractions, and mixed number. What are proper fractions? Proper fractions are fractions that are less than 1. So a proper fraction is a fraction that is less than 1 whole. A proper fraction is a fraction that is less than 1 whole. Let's look a little bit closer at proper fractions. Imagine it's my daughter's birthday. Here, I've baked a cake. I've cut up this cake into 13 pieces. So that was a whole cake, 1 whole cake. I've cut it up into 13 pieces. I've cut it up into 13 pieces. Before I gave away, or before her friends took any of the cake, it's 13 out of 13. So here we have the whole thing. Nothing was eaten, nothing was taken, is 13 out of 13. So 13 out of 13 is the same thing as 1 whole. If I cut up the cake into 10 pieces, 10 out of 10 would be the same thing as 1 whole because I've not given away any. If I cut it up into 5 parts, 5 out of 5 would be the same thing. It would be 1 whole because I've not given away any. So when the numerator and the denominator is the same thing, we can replace that with a number 1 because it's 1 whole. So 13 out of 13 is the same thing as 1 whole. 5 out of 5 is the same thing as 1 whole. It means you have not given away any. Now let's get back to proper fractions. Imagine that her friends came. They took 1 piece, took another piece, took another piece, and then took another piece. Here what we have left is less than 1 cake. We have less than 1 cake. Remember that the cake was cut up into 13 pieces. So how many do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 pieces left. We have less than 1 cake left. So that is a proper fraction. If we wanted to find out how many pieces were eaten, 9 and 4 is 13. That would be a proper fraction as well because the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So one way in which we describe a proper fraction, we say a proper fraction is a fraction in which the numerator is smaller than the denominator. And the reason for this is because it's less than 1. So imagine that the cake was so nice that when the friends are leaving, they came, Miss, can I get a piece for my sister? They know it's not the sister they're carrying it for, no, they're carrying it for themselves. But they want another piece. So another friend came, and another friend came and took another piece, and another friend came and took another piece. Here I have more cake left, but I have less than 1. So what I have left there, the fraction I have left there is a proper fraction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 pieces left. But if I was asked to describe the fraction I have left, remember it was originally out of 13. So because it was originally out of 13 and now I have only 6 pieces left, I have that 6 out of 13. That is a proper fraction. So a proper fraction is one in which the numerator is smaller than the denominator. Let's look at another question that could come up on proper fractions. If I have 1, take away 3 over 6. How are we going to do that? 1 whole take away 3 out of 6. What you need to look at is that means the cake is cut up into 6 parts. So this is the same thing as saying 6 out of 6, take away 3 out of 6. And our answer is 3 out of 6. If I'm given 1, take away 3 out of 12, all I'm going to assume that here, or I'm going to say to myself, oh, this is 1 cake. I've given away 3 out of 12. That means I did cut up this cake into 12 parts. So that means that's 12 out of 12, take away 3 out of 12, and that's going to give us 9 out of 12. What about 1, take away 2 out of 9? All that means is that 1 cake I've cut up into 9 parts. So I could change this and write 9 out of 9, take away 2 out of 9. And then my answer to that would give 7 out of 9. So here we have a proper fraction. A proper fraction is out of 1. Anything that's less than 1 is a proper fraction. With a proper fraction, the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So with a proper fraction, the numerator is smaller than the denominator. It means less than 1. Now let's look at improper fraction. So improper fractions are fractions that are more than 1. So it's more than 1 whole. An improper fraction is a fraction that is more than 1 whole. So let's look at the picture of an improper fraction. Let's go back to the story of the cake. Now imagine now it is my birthday. So I'm expecting many more people to come over. So I've baked some cakes. I've baked more than 1 cake. I've baked some cakes. I've still cut up each cake. I've cut it up into 13 parts. So I've still cut up each cake into 13 parts, but I've baked more than 1 cake because I expect more people to be coming over. So what I've done, I've cut it up into 13 pieces, each cake into 13 pieces, but I've laid it down here so that I'm going to have a buffet so that people can take whatever cake they want. So here is a cake all cut up and laid out on the tray. Unfortunately, it rained a lot. And the amount of people I was expecting to come to my party did not turn up. So only a few people turn up. Some people took piece over, picked piece home for the family. Some people get an extra tray and carried some home for their family. So here we have those people took. Now I have all this cake left over. So I've called up my friend and I said to my friend, I have a lot of cake left over because not many people turn up because of the rain. She said to me, how much cake do you have left over? Now remember that each cake was cut up into 13 pieces. So 1 piece is what we call 1 out of 13. So let's see how many pieces I would have left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So I have 28 pieces left over. So 28 out of 13. Because 1 piece was called 1/13. So 28 13s I'm going to have left. So that is what I'm going to have left over. Now remember that 1 whole cake was 13 out of 13. So this is more than 13 out of 13. So here we have what is called an improper fraction. So here I'm going to have more than 1 cake left over because it's more than 13 out of 13. So I have 28 out of 13, meaning that 28 13s because each one of them was called 1/13. So this would be 1/13, another 1/13, another 1/13. So each piece is called 1/13. When I count that up, I have 28 13s. Now remember that one whole cake was 13 out of 13. This means the pieces that are there, I can get more than one cake. If I was going to put them back together, I would get more than one cake. So here what we all have is an improper fraction. And an improper fraction is a fraction in which the numerator, so the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So in an improper fraction, the numerator is bigger than the denominator. And the reason for that is because this is more than 1. So remember that an improper fraction is more than 1. So let's explain this again. Here we have a cake. One cake is cut up into 13 pieces. However, I'm having many people coming to my party. So what I've done, I've baked more than one cake. I still cut one cake into 13 pieces, but I've laid down the cakes that I've cut up. I've laid the pieces right there because it's going to be a buffet style and everybody's going to come and take the cake that they want. Unfortunately, many people, in this case, many people did not turn up to my party because of the weather. So when everybody left my party, I had 28 pieces left. I had 28 pieces left. Each piece was called 1/13 because one cake was cut up into 13 parts. So here I now have 28/13, meaning that the pieces that are there could make more than one cake. If I had put them together, it would make more than one cake. That is what we call an improper fraction. An improper fraction is a fraction that is greater than 1, that we can get more than 1 from. Now, let's look back at this improper fraction that we have here. So let's look back at this improper fraction. This improper fraction was 28 out of 13. So let's look back that. That improper fraction was 28 out of 13. Now we know that an improper fraction is a fraction that is greater than 1 because this means it was cut up into 13 pieces. And when we finished put all of those cakes on a tray, I had baked more than one cake, put one into 13 pieces, but I've cut them up and I've put them in a tray, on a tray. After the party was over, I had 28 pieces left. So it's 28 out of 13. I call my sister and say, oh, there were so many cakes that was left over. She asked how many cakes were left over. Now, because I know that there's more than 1, how many 13s can I get out of 28? It's going to give me 2 times. So if I was going to do that, I could get 13 pieces, another 13 pieces, and then I'd have 2 left over. So here I could get 13 out of 13, which would be 1 cake. And so 13 out of 13, that's going to be 1 cake. Another 13 out of 13, that would be another cake. And 2 out of 13 would be left. So here we can change an improper fraction to a mixed number because I have 1, 2 cakes, and what is going to be left will be 2 out of 13. So here we have a mixed number. Remember, it's not called a mixed fraction, it's called a mixed number. So a mixed number is a fraction that's made up of, a mixed number is made up of a whole number and a fraction. A mixed number is made up of a whole number and a fraction. So an improper fraction is a fraction that is more than 1. So 12 out of 7, that's more than 1. It means, again, if it was a cake, it means one cake was cut up into 7 parts. So if one cake was cut up into 7 parts and I have 12 parts, it means I have more than 1 cake. So how many 12s can I get out of 7? 1, and that is going to be left with 5 pieces. So I can change an improper fraction into a mixed number. It means, here again, I have a party. I have cakes. I've cut up 1 cake into 7 parts. At the end of the party, because I made many cakes, at the end of the party, I picked up the pieces that were left, the slices that were left. And there were 12 slices left. Now that 12 slices, if I put them together back originally, I could get one whole cake because 7 parts would make one whole cake and a piece of cake would be left over. So 5 out of 7 would be left over. So here I have an improper fraction, but I can change that to a mixed number. Here again, that's an improper fraction. It's more than 1. So again, if that was the cake, it means that 6 pieces, how many 6 pieces do I have there? I have 21, 1, 6. If I was going to put those pieces together, I would have 3 cakes, because 6 into 21, 6 times 3 is 18, and I'm going to be left with 3 pieces. So here I could get 3 whole cakes out of that, and 3 pieces will be left. Again, if I have 14 out of 6, it means that all the cakes were cut up into 6 pieces. It means at the end of the party, I had 14 pieces because there was more than 1 cake that I put on the tray. I have 14 pieces. If I was going to put this back together and fix it back how they were to put it back into a whole cake, remember that 6 pieces made 1 cake. How many 6 pieces can I get out of 14 pieces? 6 into 14 is going to give me 2 times, and then I'm going to have 2 pieces left over. So this means I could get 2 whole cakes and a piece left over. So we can change an improper fraction into a mixed number. So we can change an improper fraction into a mixed number. We can also change a mixed number into an improper fraction. So here I have 2 and 1/3. All this means is that I have some cakes. I've cut up 1 cake into 3 parts. So if I've cut up 1 cake into 3 parts, if I have 2 parts there, 2 whole cakes there, that means that is 6 parts, that is. And then I'll have 1 left over. So this 6 plus that 1 is going to give us 7 out of 3. So here we have an improper fraction. Let's look at another question, another example. 1 and 3 over 7. All this means is that I've had some cakes and I've cut up each cake into 7 parts. So this 1 whole cake means 1 whole cake that is cut up into 7 parts. So that's 7 out of 7. So that's 7 parts. But I have there 3 more parts left over. So 7 plus 3 is 10. So my answer is 10 out of 7. I've gone from a mixed number to an improper fraction. 3 and 2/7. It means I've cut up 1 cake into 7 parts. Now I have 3 whole cakes. So 3 sets of 7. So this cake having 7 parts, that cake having 7 parts, that cake having 7 parts. So that's what that means. 3 times 7 is 21. But I also have a piece of cake left over, or some pieces of cake, 2 pieces of cake left over. So 1 whole cake, 1 whole cake, 1 whole cake, and 2 pieces left over. If I want to write that as an improper fraction or see what it would look like on the tray after I've cut it up, this would be 7, this would be 7, this would be 7. So it's 3 sets of 7. Hence the reason why we say 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 would give us 23 out of 7. Now, what did we look at today? We looked at types of fractions. So we looked at a proper fraction first. And remember, a proper fraction is a fraction that is less than 1. So a proper fraction is one in which it is, first of all, remember that is less than 1. As one in which the numerator is smaller than the denominator. So out of 6, if I have 6 out of 6, that means I have the whole thing. But if I take a part of it, 3 out of 6, that's a proper fraction. Still out of 6 if I want to keep it out of 6. If I take 1 out of 6, it means I have more left. because only one part are taken out of the 6 part. That's a proper fraction. So a proper fraction, 2 out of 12, that's a proper fraction. A proper fraction is less than 1. It is where the numerator is smaller than the denominator. An improper fraction is one in which the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So an improper fraction is more than 1. So 12 out of 5 means that the whole cake is cut up into 5 parts. I've baked more than 1 cake. So I put them on the tray. When I finish picking up the pieces, I have 12 pieces. So I've had enough to make more than 1 cake. How many 5s? So here we have what is called an improper fraction. We can change an improper fraction to a mixed number. So how many 5s can I get out of 12? So the 12 pieces can make 2 cakes, and I still have, because 10 pieces is going to make 2, I'm still going to have 2 pieces left over. So here, an improper fraction can be changed to a mixed number. Again, 22 out of 9. It means how many 9s can I get out of 22, which is going to be 2, and that's going to give us 4 out of 9 left over. So that we can change an improper fraction to a mixed number. We can also change a mixed number to an improper fraction. So if I look back at that 2 over 9, 2 and 4 over 9, it means that 1 cake is cut up into 9 parts, and I have 2 sets of 9. So 9 times 2 is 18, so this means that's 18 pieces. But I still have 4 pieces over there. So 18 plus 4 is 22 out of 9, or 22 9s. If I have 6 and 2 5ths, it means I have enough cake to make 6 whole cakes. And remember, 1 cake had 5 pieces. So how many pieces I have in total? 5 times 6 is 30, plus I have 2 more pieces there. So it's going to be 32 out of 5. Hopefully this helps. So we looked at proper fraction, improper fraction, and mixed numbers.
If you not have no education, people treat you like